Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Touch. It's Tuesday morning. I'm Darwin Campbell. The Morning Touch is brought to you by the Chaplaincy for the Homeless and the FSBC in Glendale. This morning, I want us to focus on something very important. We've had some changeable things happen over the past couple of days that have been really heart stirring and soul stirring. And that is the killings in Atlanta in the massage parlor, and just recently, the shootings in a shopping center or a grocery store in Colorado. My friends, these things are shocking. These things are stunning. These things bring you to your knees at the losses and the family ties that have been severed, the sudden death of loved ones at the hands of individuals who do not care about the souls of men and women in this world. My friends, today I want to talk to you about the only weapon that works against hate. The only weapon. And I hope by the end of this lesson that you will start to utilize this weapon and start teaching that weapon to your children and start teaching that weapon in your workplace and start sharing that weapon throughout your community. You know, Jesus said in Matthew chapter 5, verses 43 through 47, he said, "You have heard that it was said, love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I tell you, love your enemies and pray for those that persecute you, those that persecute you, that you may be the sons of your Father in heaven. He causes sun to rise on the evil and the good, and sends rain to the just and the unjust." Good things happen. Bad things happen. But one of the best ways to shape or influence what happens, it starts with you and me. Perhaps you can be the difference in your community, your neighborhood, your workplace, your church. How does it start? It doesn't start with the eye for an eye concept. It doesn't start by taking out your frustrations on others. It starts with understanding the true and real meaning of God's love. Love is the weapon against hate. And I'm not talking about the worldly kumbaya, share a flower, flower in the gun barrel love. I'm not talking about free love type stuff from the 60s. I'm talking about understanding what God says in the Bible about love and about the demonstration of love in the lives of men and women and children. Things will not get better until we understand that the greatest weapon against hate is love, true love. Now, it's nice to stand and see the president make a statement that this must stop, and for others to stand up and say this is disgusting and our prayers go out and this and that. My friends, from a spiritual perspective, the words of the president will not bring back the people in Atlanta or Colorado or anywhere else where there is a horrific crime committed. We must get to the root base and help people understand the biblical definition of love and impart those principles in the hearts of people. Not just saying it, but living it and bringing it out and teaching it. So much has been done to remove prayer and biblical influence from our schools, from the face of our nation's laws, and from our communities. That's the problem. When you remove those things, those very basic biblical principles from our laws and from our schools, and when you remove the examples of moral values and character from the face of our children and our community. We have things like this happen, Atlanta. We have things like this happen, Colorado. And there will be more Atlantas and Colorados if we don't get the concept of godly love and how to implement it in the hearts and lives of those around us. The only weapon against hate is to understand God's true definition of love and to implement it in every aspect of our life. The words of a president can't do anything. The words of politicians don't work. Legislation and vigil after vigil after vigil for the loved ones lost are ineffective. Community outrage makes it worse. It does not stop the bullets. It does not stop the killing of the innocents. It does not stop police from shooting innocent citizens, nor does it stop lone wolves from walking into massage parlors or walking into grocery stores or walking into parking lots and killing people. My friends, when will we get the message as a nation that there are no Supermans and Batmans to come and rescue us? When will we get the message that a simple video game will not solve this problem? My friends, what solves this problem is when we go back to the Bible and we understand moral values, we understand character, we understand principles, we understand what it means to change the heart of the inner man, to get to the God man inside and to grow that God man into respect and love for the Word of God, and to have that implemented and walked out in the lives of children, men, and women. That's how we change what's currently going on. You see, as long as God is not present, the devil can have his way in the hearts of men and women. We have got to bring back the presence of God, not only visibly in our society, but we've got to put it in the hearts of our children and our families and our communities. It's got to be the forefront. If you want to stop the killing, if you want to stop the hate, a politician and laws will never solve the problem. Only love and only Jesus. Jesus said in Matthew chapter 16 and verse 24, he makes it clear that if any man comes to me, he must deny himself, take up his cross, and follow him. Jesus calls for humility. Jesus calls for us to stop, look, and listen to him. Jesus calls for us to go back to the Word of God because it is profitable for what? Doctrine, for reproof, for correction, for instruction in righteousness, truth, honor, justice. The Bible teaches us how to be good and how to do things right. Only love and only Jesus can solve this problem of hate in America and the world. We must hear his voice. We must follow Jesus. We must follow his word. We must deny ourselves. Selfishness is killing our society. The desire to take care of one's own goals and desires is killing our society. We need to go back to a time when we care for one another, when we love one another, when we listen to the words of Jesus, when we follow the word of God, when we respect the Bible. That will solve the hate problem. It is the power of God that works in the hearts of men that make the difference. It is the power to change America. It's the power to change the world. That makes the difference if we're willing to use it. The word of God and the love of God destroys hate. The word of God and the love of God and respect for it will cause people to put down their AK-47s, to lay down their semi-automatic rifles. It will cause men to stop the rage that's in their hearts, because when the love of Jesus fills the hearts of an individual, and that individual is moved by the love of God, moved by the cross of Christ, moved by the grace that God has provided, they will stop. They will think, and they will focus on what is right and not what is wrong. Satan has the reins of the hearts of many doing these evil, vile things because the knowledge of God is not present. The knowledge of God is not present, leaving man open to be used of the devil. My friends, it's time for us to understand moral accountability. It's time for us to understand true moral values. It's time for us to call for spiritual conviction, going back to the Bible and its truths, because the Bible never made a killer. The Bible never created a serial shooter. The Bible never causes people to go and do the vile and evil things that we see going on in our society today. When Jesus is at the reins, when Jesus is in control, we see better men, better women, better communities, better society, better laws, better Congress, better presidents, better world. That's what we see when the influence of God and the influence of the Bible is returned to our society and our values and our morals. We will see Atlanta's disappear. We will see Colorado's disappear. My friends, that's the change. We need to start feeding our hearts with the Word of God and Jesus Christ. That's the only thing that will shut down the devil. That's the only thing that will stop his evil voices from moving in the hearts of men who are weak-minded and go and do these evil and vile things. As we close, we need to change our focus, brothers and sisters, and it starts with you and me. It starts right here and right now. If you want to stop the Atlantas and stop the Colorados, stop the Columbines, stop the Florida shootings, if you want to stop it, brothers and sisters, it starts right here with you and me, demanding the return of biblical values, Christian values, biblical truths, and the return of the influence of Jesus Christ on the hearts of men and women and children in the United States of America. You know, the Morning Touch is brought to you by the Chaplaincy for the Homeless and the FSBC in Glendale. We want a better world. We want a safer world. We want a world of peace. But the world must learn the love of God and the love of Jesus Christ. It's the only weapon that will stop the hate that's running rampant in our society. Our time is gone. I hope that you are motivated to be a part of the solution, to learn to pray and love your neighbors, and to communicate the values that made us a great nation. God bless you and keep you, and we'll see you again next time on The Morning Touch.